Good morning. My name is Richard Clements, and I'm the Internet Marketing Director with Pearce Communications. Good to see you all here this morning. You're very welcome. I hope you've found the first session interesting. I am a change to the schedule. I'm afraid Ian Dodson, who is due to speak now, can't speak this morning. So at last notice, I've had to jump in, and we've swapped around. So you'll be hearing Ian this afternoon. And I'm afraid you've got to listen to me now this morning. So I'm going to be talking about sort of general aspects of internet marketing, a little bit of focus on search engine optimization, which is kind of my forte, and and just having a look at a few things that maybe will help you and your businesses, to get some ideas moving forward on how you can use this wonderful thing called the internet to market your businesses. Who am I? Well, as I said, I'm the Internet Marketing Director. 6 years, coming on 7 years now, experience of internet marketing. I was lucky enough to be living in the United States a few years ago and got into it all then. So it's been a fascinating ride since. Working with lots of different companies, so literally, the old American mom and pop businesses, through to some very large businesses, and they all have their interest. And for me, the bottom point there is probably the most important thing. It's all about the bottom line. What I love about internet marketing is the fact, that whatever I do, whether it's search, whether it's pay-per-click, whether it's, even social media and stuff like that, I can look at the analytics on the website and I can see, did that work? Didn't it work? Is it really making a difference to the, the bottom line, the profitability of my business, your business, whoever I'm working with? And that's who my wife wished I was, and just you were wondering why have I put that picture up there, and really why I've done that is really just to say, that online you can be whoever you want to be, and how you promote your brand online, how you promote your business online, how you're projecting yourself out there, whether it's on search, whether it's on social media, whether it's using press releases, online press releases, etc. You can make your brand appear to be whoever you want it to be, and I guess I kind of would like to be Brad Pitt, but there you go. What's the background to all of this? And back in 1995, it was just good enough to get a website. Everybody was just like, oh, that whole internet thing. Let's get a website. The World Wide Web. There was a thing called Netscape Navigator was the browser of the day, and everybody jumped onto the bandwagon. And it was just enough to to have a website, and people didn't really think about how it really might be used. So moving forward to to the year 2000-ish, then people started going, well, hold on a minute, it's not really just about having a website. I really do need to try and do something with it. I need to try and get traffic somehow to come to the website. And I guess around about 2004-ish, Google had been around for probably about 5 years at that stage. Google was really starting to get some momentum, and people really jumped onto the Google bandwagon, and getting a top ranking on Google was the bee's knees. I mean, literally, if you got a top ranking on Google for any reasonably competitive keyword at all, you were landed. It was the biggest game in town. Social media hadn't kicked off. You had a really good business then. And then around about 2008, I think Twitter was founded in about 2005-06. Facebook was founded in 2005. Twitter was 2007, I think it was. So around about 2008, social media is really starting to gather momentum, and first of all thousands, and then tens of thousands, and then hundreds of thousands, and now millions and hundreds of millions of people are now using these platforms to engage with each other, primarily on a social basis. But of course, when Martin and I engage, socially on Facebook, which we do a lot of time, don't we, Martin? If I say, I was out last night and I went to this wonderful restaurant and the food was fantastic and the service was good, highly recommended. That personal recommendation, Martin's going to go, oh, God, if Richard really liked that, I really must check it out, sort of type thing. So that, that's where social media really, really starts to work. And you've heard from Jamie this morning talking about that. And now in 2010, if you're not doing all of these things, if you're not looking at search engines, and I'm going to give you some detail on that, if you're not using social media, if you're not using online press releases, et cetera, then you really are missing, you're missing something, because it's a cumulative sum of all that activity online that will get you the very, very best results. And I just found that little picture there. Back in 1989, you could buy a Tandy MC professional system for the princely sum of $8,499, and the average small mobile phone that you've got now has more processing power than that thing had. So things have moved on a lot since then. So so why and I've put trade online, but why why have your website up there? What are the driving factors here? Well, if you've got a retail business, online spending exceeded the wider retail spending for the first time in 2000 and in December 2008. So that was kind of the big, the big jump. That sort of made people, who didn't really know what was going on. This online thing really is here to stay. It's making an impact. Just to put that into perspective locally, about 70% of Irish people are now regular internet users. So that's a really big proportion, obviously, of the population. The latest stat I could find, and I'm sure there'll be some other ones coming out very shortly, was that there was 300 million euros worth of goods bought online in Ireland in 2008. Widening that out to the UK, and we've a lot of big businesses here, who aren't just trading here in Ireland. 4.4 billion pounds was spent online in the UK just in June of this year, 2010. The projected figure for this year is 56 billion. Massive, massive numbers. And they're expecting the growth to continue. It is the one big growth area, while sort of offline retail and things are kind of stagnant, maybe even declining slightly. Online is still growing. It's going to go up by 110%, and they reckon by 2020 it'll be about 123 billion pounds being spent online. And really what I'm trying to show you there is that these are massive, massive numbers, and if you've had any doubt at all that maybe you should be doing something online, then hopefully these figures will dispel that. So, what makes a successful site? What makes a successful online business? And I'm not just talking e-commerce here. I'm talking about any kind of service business, any kind of, you could be running a charity, lots of, why be online at all? And what makes it successful? And, the key thing here is two things. One is to get targeted visitors to come and visit your site. It's not just any old visitor. You want targeted visitors. And the great thing about online marketing is the way that you can focus in on people. And I'm going to give you a bit of background to search. But even on social media, when you're doing press releases, when you're using shopping comparison sites, whatever it might be, you can really focus in on the people who are genuinely interested in your product or service. And that's the key thing. You just don't want getting thousands of people coming to your website if they're not really interested in the product or service you're providing. Is kind of a waste of time. So it's all about targeted visitors. And of course, once you've got those visitors there, you want them to do something. And if you've got an e-commerce business, that's very obvious. You want them to buy product. But oftentimes, you've got a service business. Capture their email address is probably the best result that you can actually get for somebody who visits your site for the first time. And then you can start a relationship with them. And when they're ready to buy the service, they'll come back to you as opposed to going back to Google and retyping their search in. For an offline business, it may well just be enough to have the website there and say, call us now, 0800 blah blah blah. Just get them to pick up the phone and phone you is a very acceptable result and a very acceptable use of a website. Or perhaps you might just want them to just come and visit your offline business. Don't even stop. And one of the clients that I've been working with in Belfast for quite some time now is a wholesale jewellers. And when I got it back in 2005, got involved with them, they had a terrible website, did literally zero for the business. And we rebuilt the website and we did a little bit of search engine optimization. He was paranoid about the competition knowing about his prices. He was supposed to be wholesale, etc. So there's no prices on his site. Everything says quote only. And whenever you sort of go through the checkout process, blah, 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 add to basket, you ask for a quote, and literally what happens is the director in charge of the website gets an email. He'll phone you up and say, oh, you've asked for a quote for the blah, blah, blah diamond engagement ring. Here's the price. Now, can I interest you in coming in to actually buy it? And so literally he is trying to convince people to actually then come on in and buy the product in his shop. And when he tracks all of that, I'm not allowed to tell the exact figures, but he's made hundreds of thousands of pounds worth every year of additional business just using that kind of crazy model to increase his jewelry business. So so it's not you don't have to think it purely has to be online, it purely has to be offline. There's a lot of stuff that you can do to amalgamate the two. So what are the internet marketing options? And here's probably the main ones. Search engine optimization, good old SEO. Yes, it was king of the hill back around about 2005, 2006, but it's still there, and it's a great way of getting the targeted word I'm going to use again to get people to come to your website, and still a strategy that we would push almost to every client that we ever engage with. Sort of similar to that, obviously again using the search engines as pay-per-click. AdWords, some people know it as. So again, you're relying on Google to give the, show your ad, and then people click on your ad. And I'm sure you're aware that Google is making around about $4 billion a quarter in net profit, just because people are advertising on Google. Not a bad business model at all. Email marketing, is another really good strategy, and it's been around for a long time, yes, and it's much abused. We all receive those dodgy emails offering us all sorts of pharmaceutical products and at cheap prices, et cetera, et cetera. So spam is an issue. But in terms of keeping in touch with an existing client base, in terms of engaging somebody who's come to your, particularly your service website for the first time, it's probably the very best thing that you can do is to get their email address so you can start a relationship with them and send them out, your regular monthly newsletter or whatever it might be. It's very, very cost effective, and a lot of service businesses kind of miss that as an opportunity on their websites. Obviously, social media, and I'm going to include blogging on that, is the big buzzword at the moment. Whatever it is, Facebook is now 500 million active users, Twitter's 300 million plus. There's massive numbers of people using these social media networks, and businesses are scrambling, to try and tap into that and try and promote their brands, engage in all those different buzzwords which you've already heard about this morning. So it's a big strategy. Shopping comparison sites, obviously this applies only to e-commerce sites, but the likes of Kalku, Amazon, Price Runner, Chow, Google Shopping, Google has its own little shopping channel. They're great ways of getting your products out there on, into the wider market. People like these sort of price comparison sites. Give me the Bosch XYZ 123 dishwasher. They know what they're looking for. They're just looking for the best price by this stage. And these sites like Kalku, particularly in the UK, they're very well optimized, and they're typically right at the top of the search engine results pages whenever somebody types in a particular model of a dishwasher, whatever it might be. So if you're listed there, then you can definitely increase the chances of making sales. And we have a client up in the north in Lisburn. Sells white goods, that's what he does. He sells dishwashers and washing machines and various bits and pieces. And he's built an online-only £3 million plus business, just using the price comparison sites. He has no idea how to use search, and he's never emailed his nearly 50,000 customers that have bought off him. He doesn't use social media, and we're obviously trying to change all of that for him. But that's how he built the business, just using the price comparison sites. Joint ventures, we all, as businesses offline, we'll come to networking events and we'll chat to people and we'll go, oh, you're in a similar industry for me. Is there anything that we can do together? And the same thing applies online. And this is a strategy that a lot of people don't think about. How can I tap into that? And John Richardson, who's going to talk to you later on, used this very effectively, because his golf product, which I'll tell you all about, he found somebody who had an email list that was very targeted. It was all about golfers, and he was able to tap into that and sort of offer his product to the third party who owned the email list, and actually use that to promote his product. So thinking kind of laterally, if you've got the old wedding business, the old wedding triangle or whatever it's called these days, so you've got the hotels, you've got the photographers, you've got the wedding dress people, florists, so there's loads of people there who are involved sort of in the wedding industry. And for sure, these people are online. They maybe have a good email list. They maybe have a website that gets lots of traffic. And if you can sort of joint venture and maybe have a banner on their website, maybe you advertise on their email, maybe they just send out a special email that says, I highly recommend Joe's photography business to the people who they know are about to get married or whatever. So joint ventures are a great way and a very easy way and a very cost-effective way to get new customers. You just need a little, give a little bit of lateral thought.